welcome back once again to the 18th edition of the Women's Forum 2023. I would like to also pass and extend our love and greetings to our 20,000 audience online. We love you, we see you, we appreciate you. Now, the most important thing that we want to talk about, okay, let me put it in this way. You know, we live in a forever changing world, and we are always confronted with the realities of evolving with the times. You know, I remember speaking to a friend, and I was saying a word. He says, "No, Madiba, no. That is yesterday. This is a new word now." So we are constantly confronted with the realities of change. And now I think it is actually Heraclitus who says the only thing that is constant is change. And that is the Greek philosopher, Heraclitus of Ephesus. I think I used to study Greek, so some of these things, they keep coming back. Now we are going to engage with change. And many of you, I know some of you are very afraid of change. I mean, guys, look at me. I changed. I look different. Seriously, I changed. And the team, actually, I have a team of amazing makeup artists at the back, and they're constantly trying to find ways to make you, when you look at me, to smile, and that is part and parcel of change. People are always constantly engaged with change, and in fact, if you want to keep people excited, if you want to keep people engaged, you must also change, you must evolve. So now, to help us take us through into the concept of change, we have, oh, by the way, did I mention that I look ambassador-like today? Well, the reason why I look ambassador-like, we're going to be joined on stage by Ambassador Suzi LeVine, and coming along with Sebastien, Bazin, who will be engaging in conversation with Bazin, and also our fellow panelists.
Thank you, Ambassador. So much.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Bonjour. I hope your lunch was delectable and filling and nutritious, and you're not allowed to take any naps right now. That can be later. So we're going to sit down for a moment. Oh, I'll come sit closer to you.
I almost did before you.
It's all good. So hi, I'm Suzi LeVine, and I served as our U.S. ambassador to Switzerland and Liechtenstein, and that's probably why I'm here with you today. But I think it's also helpful for you to know that I'm a teacher, that I'm a parent, I'm a dog walker, I'm a citizen. My pronouns are she, her, and it's incredibly, what a humbling experience to be before you today. The conversation that we've been having the past couple of days has been about how you change education and educate for change. But that how is a really important element of that. We know the what, we know the why, but now there's the question of how. Education can't actually keep pace with innovation. And what we're also experiencing is that the needs of the workforce are changing faster than what we've designed within our education system. One and done doesn't work anymore. You can't just finish with a degree and be done. And not to mention, at least in the United States, only 30 to 40% of individuals get a four-year university degree. So what we're going to have conversations with today is about lifelong learning in order to facilitate lifelong earning, and a conversation about apprenticeship, something that's both old and new. My first conversation that we're going to have today is with Sebastien Bazin. And he is the CEO of Accor, I need to make sure that I get this all right. So Sebastien is the CEO of Accor, and he is, in this capacity, a champion of gender equality, and he enlisted Accor as an active participant in He for She. He came to the hospitality industry from the finance world, and he also serves as the president of the Gustave Roussy Foundation's board of directors, and is a member of GE's board of directors. Now, the fun fact, during his early career in the military, he was a firefighter here in Paris. Right, see?
Do I look like one?
You still carry it with you.
I still carry it.
So it's such an honor to have you here. So really, my first question is, given the changes in technology and customer demands in hospitality, how does Accor acquire and train talent, both to bring in individuals in an ever-changing environment and to advance them within the organization?
Well, that's a pretty, well, first, thanks a lot for missing lunch and being with us. It's, you know, I spent 25 years of my life in the financial world, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Then decided 10 years ago, a bit to test myself, and because when you're in the financial world, you are in between lucky and smart, and you don't know really which part. And I said, let's go test myself to the fire, try to embark people, try to get the proper vision, and try to deploy. And having done it, realized that being who I am at the helm, there's nothing I can do without so many of them. And 10 years passing, I can tell you what I'm the most proud about, which has nothing to do really with me, it has to do with the company. And probably was the case even before I came, is this company is probably one of the top 5 companies on the planet, and I don't even know the other 4, maybe you know, Suzi. Is the last 12 months, we hired 120,000 new people. And what's so extraordinary about the 120,000 is not really the number. It's the fact that I guess above 50% of those people never went to university, never probably finished college, never had a job before. And we hired them in local community in Nigeria, in Malaysia, in Sri Lanka, in Brazil, in 120 countries. And it works all the time. And we do it again every year because Accor has over 300,000 people, and we have roughly a third turnover. Why is it that large? Because those people you hire when they don't have any proper self-esteem, you teach them a job, and expertise. But then after 3 years, they gain, they feel stronger, and they move, which I totally accept, and you do it again. So the magic, and I'm not talking gender here, I'm not even talking culture, origin, religion. We do it, the only thing that I guess we're trying to tackle is we open one new hotel almost a day, so over 300 hotels. Every time you open a hotel, you need between 20 and 500 people. What we're trying to do is to have 80% of those people who live next door from the local community. So, and then he or she came up 7 years ago, United Nations. They looked for some ambassador, and one of the topics was equal pay. And I never really thought about equal pay before joining Accor. Never probably even being bothered by it. And then they came to see me and said, Sebastien, would you at Accor basically endeavor to do an equal salary for any genders? And I said, of course, that is not the case. He said, no, Sebastien, it's not the case. And I'll tell you something which is pretty peculiar. I said yes within less than half a minute. And then the board of directors, when I told them, you know, we committed in the next 12 months or the next 24 months to have an equal pay between men and women, to which they said, Sebastien, how much that's going to cost us? And I said, I don't want to know. Because if you were to know the cost, then you may be telling me to do it in 5 years. And we decided, we implemented it. It's less than 2% actually, and it could be a man being underpaid by 2% to women. And then it just rippled effect on so many other things that we've done on gender-based violence, again with United Nations. So it's the miracle of Accor is probably linked to who we are. My job is fairly easy. Welcoming, caring. Because that's what we do all day. We welcome somebody, and we have to be a caretaker. So the mere fact that we do that every day, the human interaction between an employee and a guest, between me and an owner, is supernatural. And we had a tagline one day, which we're trying to probably evolve, which I love. It's feel valued. And feel valued works for absolutely everybody within the group and outside of this group. Feel is you have a sentiment. You just have to go inside yourself to just, what is it that I guess you've been feeling? And valued is you're not a number. You have a first name, you have a last name, you have a culture, you have a difference. And if anything, I think what Accor is doing every day passing is we're building our strengths on accepting differences. And You know, it's, I don't know why I'm going to say that in front of you today, but there's one thing which, I'm sorry to put his name, I didn't even think of doing it. Sarkozy told me one day, he's a board member of Accor, and part of the three names, I mean, three words about Accor, liberté, égalité, fraternité. And he said to me many times, Sebastien, the égalité part of it, we're all being born non-equal. What we have to fight is not to be equal, is to make sure that, I guess, we accept that we're not being equal and we evolve. So it's, Accor is a formidable company. Only in this can we just give a hand to someone. And we do. And we do it with ease and with please, and actually with passion.
Yeah.
So it's a long answer to your question.
I appreciate that. Vive la différence, right? It's not about how do you equalize, it's how do you, about equity is different than equality in this space. Can you talk a little bit about some of the work that you've done, this is totally off script, with regards to helping domestic violence victims in Accor hotels? I think that's it's an exceptional example of how spaces.
We actually only at the beginning, and it's, again, he was at a forum with La Maison des Femmes, so House of Women. And they talked about the domestic-based violence. And she was talking about her creating different houses in which people being victims could go and hide or at least be safe for 2 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. And part of the discussion she was actually sharing with people, the most difficult time is a time where you are being abused, you're being victim, and you're trying to free away from it. And you're back in the street, and the woman basically is in tears, in shock, and doesn't know what to do, and probably knows that her phone is being tapped in terms of actually geolocalized. And I woke up and I said, there's one thing we could do, Accor, is if somebody were to be in the street, wherever it could be on the planet, likelihood is within 5 minutes away, there's an Accor property, because we have almost 6,000 hotels in so many different cities and countries. And I said, if we can only put a system together when that person could walk directly to any branch of Accor, being welcomed, being identified, having the receptionist being trained on basically untapping the phone, making sure she could be there with her children for a night, for 2 nights, for 3 nights. I can be the bridge in between what this woman was talking to me about as a mid-permanent stay, and those first 20 minutes were probably the most scary 20 minutes. And you don't have to go to a police officer, you don't have to go to a hospital if you could go to a hospital. But at least Accor should be the warm place. And the reason when I thought about it, it's intriguing. When I started at Accor, by pure accident, I was discussing with some equivalent Navy SEALs, so Army, armed forces on foreign territories. And they told me wherever they are in any territories of war, conflict, there's only 2 places where they feel safe, even though they're still in that country. Air France airline, he could be still on tarmac. The minute he enters an Air France plane, they distress. And Accor hotel. They said, well, you come to Novotel Ibis, we feel safe. So Human Rights Watch, I was also talking to the CEO, and I said, you know, all your reporters, enquêteurs, whatever you call them, one of the difficulties is they carry a lot of actually technology to record and to save. It could be an iPad, it could be a computer. And of course, they need to place it someplace safe. And so we're trying to work out something where Accor Hotel should be the caretaker and basically the place where you can actually hide all that technology for that person to be on the street and come back safer. There's so many things we can do, which is why I've been saying for a long time, technology industry companies are far stronger, better growth, and better capitalized. But it's a cold industry. They never interact with someone. Accor is in a warm industry, so let's take advantage of that human interaction, because that's what makes us so, not much better, but so different.
Well, I want to be respectful of your time, and I know that you have a very intense schedule, and I thank you so, so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
And I appreciate what you're doing to advance women in the workforce and to ensure that those 150,000, did you say you bring in every year?
120. Don't make it 150 yet. So 120. But
120 that they're getting trained up, and that you're also upskilling your workforce within too. So thank you for what you're doing.
Merci beaucoup. Ciao, bye-bye.